This is my first conclave, and I hope my last. So, viva el Papa. But one of the things that I come away with is, just imagine, we were over 130 people with different languages, cultures, backgrounds, from more than 70 countries. And within 24 hours, we were able to come to unity in making a decision. I hope that's a signal to the world that we can reach across our differences in culture, language, country, nationality, and work together to solve the problems that are there, that we have the opportunity to reconcile and have peace. And I think it's instructive that Pope Leo began his message to people in the square by offering them the peace of Christ. So I saw this as really a spiritual experience of not only going through the motions of praying for the Holy Spirit, singing the Veni Creator, but actually having an experience of how we were able to treat each other with great respect, to listen to each other during the congregations beforehand. And then when it came time for voting, things seemed to just gel and go in a direction that set us on a path of unity. And that's what I really come away with from this experience. If only the rest of us in our lives and in the world could have that mad dash to unity that we seem to have in the conclave.
I'm wondering, let's start with Cardinal Cupich here. What do you think the impact of this papacy will be on Catholics in America, on the church in America? I don't know if you saw the spontaneous reaction yesterday. People were chanting USA, USA in St. Peter's Square. And at the same time, some others have said, maybe pump the brakes here. This is the least American of all the cardinals. Where do you think this papacy is going to lead Catholics in America?
I believe that he will have a special platform given his experience of living in the United States, but also living in another country, a missionary country like Peru, but also here in Rome, to have Catholics take a second look at the teachings of the Church that have to do with the social gospel. Picking the name Leo is indicative, I think, of the direction he wants to take. The great reformer, he was the first modern pope that we've had after Pius IX, who wrote stirringly about the rights of workers, of immigrants, of those who were living at the margins of society. So I think it will give him a platform to reintroduce Rerum Novarum, the works of the Church since Rerum Novarum and Leo XIII. And I think he will be able to put it in language that's comprehensible and also challenging to Catholics in the United States. So that's what I'm looking for. I think that's the promise that we saw yesterday on the balcony, and also the promise in the name that he chose.
I'm Joshua Mackel with Reuters. Thank you so much. Something I think many of you saw, or we all saw in Pope Francis, was that he was a very free man. He kind of knew who he was, and he spoke very plainly and very openly, I think sometimes in ways that might have caused you all some trouble. And I wonder how you see, Pope Francis spoke very freely also about the situation in the U.S. Church and in U.S. politics. He addressed President Trump pretty directly. He called the plan to deport millions of migrants a disgrace. I'm wondering if you think Pope Leo is the same kind of free man, if he might speak in those kinds of terms about what he sees as problems with the U.S. political system. And do you hope or want that President Trump might come for the inauguration of the Petrine ministry here in Rome?
I think it's important to remember that when we have the appointment of a bishop in the church, we don't talk about a replacement. We talk about a successor. That's a very important distinction to make. And that is what we were looking for as well. Who could bring forward not only the ministry and life and tradition of Francis, but everything that preceded him, especially in that pivotal moment in the life of the Church at the Second Vatican Council. So we were looking for not a replacement, but a successor.